100%. Because it's 8:24 my time, and I plan on finishing in about half an hour. What I did want to do was go over the cards, the new expansion cards. Do I have that up? Where do I have that? Ah, here we go. I've been following it along, but what I might do is just break on the music a bit, because I might make a video about it as well and just chuck it on my channel and sit comfortably. So the first one that was revealed, I think this is in chronological order, is Massacre Artists. Oh, there is one that's missing here. Oh no, we have Mudge. Okay. It just doesn't have all of them here. Okay. First one is Massacre Artist, which is the 4-mana 2/5. And you might already know about these cards, but I'll just give my thoughts on them. So Massacre Artist is a 2/5 backstab with 2 damage. After swinging attacks and backstabs, all attacks are backstabs this turn. So obviously it has usefulness in backstab decks. Anything else that has, I'm guessing this is how it works, anything else that has a backstab keyword doesn't need to be directly behind the enemy for it to gain its backstab effect. For example, Kataras, who are the 1/3s that have like a backstab of 3 or 4, whatever it is, can just be right in front of them and attack. But it does need to stick on board, and then have other things that can also initiate, because it only applies till the end of the turn, right? So you would need, say you want to do it all in one turn, you need to have a Katara on board, or whatever it may be, a card of assassin. You could Assassination Protocol. No, you could just inner focus this. I wouldn't use Assassination, I would just inner focus, as it does have the 2 attack. So you go 4 and 1, inner focus is 5 mana, Mist Dragon Seal 6 mana. Say it's all going face, but it is a Katara. You could have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage for 6 mana, with a little bit of development on board already with the Katara. But it also is also very combo dependent, taking up a lot of cards. So I don't think this card is going to see a lot of play, purely because it's backstab themed. Even if you give a little bit more support to backstab, it's not the greatest of archetypes. Kalios, occasionally you might see a backstab Kalios, but you're better off running more of a tempo-based Kalios with your Thunderhorns, your EMPs, your Zendos, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's good in backstab decks as an archetype, but you won't see much play beyond like the first couple of weeks when lots of people are going to be experimenting with these cards. In the first couple of weeks that's going to happen, and then in my opinion after a couple of weeks then you start to see what cards are actually strong, and then you start to see them more frequently, and that's always a fun time in the first couple of weeks, seeing what cards people start using and then what becomes more frequent that you start to see, and learning to play around these cards. So it was an exciting time. So the next one was Cloudcaller. I don't think I've seen all of these actually. Open a Gambit, your Bloodborne Swell refreshes and is a lesser water ball. Oh, that's a separate thing. Cloudcaller. Did I not click lesser water ball? Or you just take me to Cloudcaller? Okay. Well, I don't really know what lesser water ball is, but I think it was on Discord. Well, let's just have a look at this and I'll try and find what lesser water ball was. It's a 5 mana 4/5. with an opening gambit. Stats aren't bad. And I do like opening gambits, things that can get guaranteed value. It is a legendary, so you might not see it in the lower ranks, because it'll be harder to actually get a hold of. But it must have a powerful effect, so I think it'll be somewhere on the Discord. Let's try and find it. Pretty sure Fate. Was it Fate or was it? Yeah, here we go. Good old Freud had has a spoiler channel in the Discord. It'll be up near the top. Alright, here we go. So the Lesser Water Ball is a 1 mana spell, deal 4 damage to an enemy minion. So this is 6. So this is effectively 6 mana to deal potentially clear a minion and develop a 4/5, which is pretty decent in more sort of control Vannar lists. It's pretty decent. But it is only 4 damage, so say it would have to contest like 5 or 6 drops potentially. It doesn't take out a Thunderhorn. It takes a lot of 2s and 3s. It has potential to take out 2 drops and 3 drops. 4 is stretching it. 5, no. It could be good in Zul'Aran. Not in Zul'Aran. What am I talking about? I'm just thinking like right now the meta favors Vitruvian a lot and Zul'Aran. And the 4 damage can take out things like your Sunrises, your Sunforged Lancers, your Scintillas, things like that. So the 4 health is significant. So it could be good. It has potential to be good, I think. Obelisks, not so much. Often they have 6 health. And against just Golem Vet, dealing with a single target and spending 6 mana to deal with 1 Golem, it's just not good enough. So good against Zul'Aran if you want to tech it in, because you think you're seeing more of Zul'Aran than you are of Vet on the ladder. I guess it could be good. It's a global Lava Slasher. It is. How much mana is a Lesser Water Ball? It's only 1 mana, the Lesser Water Ball. Might be compared to Songhai Spell Change. Perhaps. But yeah, the Lesser Water Ball is only 1 mana, and it's deal 4 damage. So, yeah, it's a 6 mana clear for a 4 health minion. Does it say enemy minion? Yeah, it says enemy minion, so I can't go face. It is to clear a minion. I wonder if I can just throw that over here. Yeah, I'll throw that over here. Here it is, the Lesser Water Ball. So yeah, not too bad, but not an auto-include in every deck, I don't think. It would need to be a more control-y list that wants to go to the late game and think they can win there, instead of just an aggro list. Not too bad. Anyway, we're done the Masqueraders, these two. Selsoul, I have seen this one. Unlike the Cloudcaller, Selsoul is for an aggro deck, I think. It's 3 mana for 4/5, Dying Wish, deal 4 damage to your general. I think this card's pretty good. I think it's really good in aggro decks. It's yet another low cost overstated minion whose downside is meant to be its effect, but I don't think the 4 damage matters at all. Is this let's see, it's a neutral, so I definitely see Vannar running this again in a very aggressive deck. Who doesn't really care about the damage either? Zul'Aran might run this, just because it's a 3 mana 4/5, and they can keep it alive with the BBS and healing. so they don't have to deal with the repercussions, and even if they do 4 damage again, it's just nothing. You could argue in this meta that healing is just so important that some decks focus on having healing in spades. Things like Zoran, Magmar has healing in spades, so this just means nothing. I think this is going to see a lot of play. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell if it's going to be good compared to the already existing cards and whether it's going to see play relative to all the new cards that are being released. But I think definitely in the first few weeks, a fair bit of people are going to be trying this out, in my opinion, because it's just so strong, and its downside is not that much of a downside. It's not that discouraging. If it was maybe like 6 damage, maybe 5 damage, maybe, but 4, it's fine. It's honestly just fine. And Azure Herald almost recovers all of it, and it's so cheap too. It's so cheap. In terms of its 4 attack, and 5 health is pretty big too. There's plenty of things that can deal with things on 4 health, but at 5 health it's kind of tough to remove. And 4 attack, it can deal with these things that are on 4 health, and there's plenty of them that exist in the game. So I think that's pretty strong. And the fact that it's neutral, it's obviously going to see play in a large variety of factions, I think. Indominus was the Lionar card. A general is invulnerable but cannot move or attack. Yeah. I'm not a big Lionar player, so I don't know too much about this card. Obviously I've been playing Zoran, but it's hard to get a read on this one, I think. A 7 mana 7/9. What are some other 7 drops? Trying to compare it. Titan is 7 mana 5/7, Peacekeeper. Drybone's better. 7 mana 7/9, EMP. Still has better stats overall. And its effect is really powerful. But I guess its ability, it's not, it doesn't seem that great. The general is invulnerable but cannot move or attack. It's just like you're stalling out, I guess. It's a big stall card. But it means that you can't take advantage of your invulnerability, right? And it just is negated by any hard removal. Stole against Mantra. Could be. You Aegis Barrier this. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You Aegis Barrier this at 8 mana. Yeah, but are you really gonna get to 8 mana against a Mantra deck? Sometimes you might, but not often you would. So I don't really think this has too much of a use. And obviously, as I say, but your general can't move or attack or do anything while you're invulnerable. So all your opponent would have to do is say, okay, well, I've been aggressive. I'm an aggro deck. I've been very aggressive. They play Indominus. Okay, well, I'll just back up till I find the hard removal. Remove it. And keep going. Maybe can abuse Tempest and Draining Wave. Yeah, that's true enough. That's true enough. It might be okay against like golems. I don't know if you want to like constant AoE. But then again, what's my issue with that? Well, Tempest, playing like lots of Tempest, lots of 2-drop spells that just deal 2 damage AoE in the late game might not be that great. I think there's some potential for this card. It's just like, unless you're running full-on control, I don't think it's that great. And I don't think a control Lionar does that well in this meta. I don't know. This card doesn't seem that great to me. there are better things that you can do at 7 mana, right? Other than just stall. Like, with how this game kind of is, by 7 mana, even if you're running a deck that goes to the late game, by 7 mana, you want to start actually getting out your late game good stuff. Obviously, you've got Grandmaster Zeon Lionar and Titan and things like that. You'd rather just be playing those instead of getting to 7 and then for whatever reason wanting to keep on stalling. I don't know. Doesn't seem that great. I doubt this again, all these probably cards are going to be seeing some kind of play in the first couple of weeks, but I think this will drop off. I don't think this will see a lot of play. What's another one? Chittering Titter. I don't think I've seen this one either. Abyssian, is it? Common. Guess that works. Oh yeah, Gauntlet. Oh, Gauntlet viability is not something I considered. Gauntlet viability is an interesting thing. This will be good in Gauntlet to deal with a ranged minion. 100%. 100%. And Cell Soul? Same deal. These two cards would be great in Gauntlet. And I guess, yeah, you often actually do go to the late game in Gauntlet. Quite often. So, I'm not sure about Gauntlet, but maybe it has a slightly better chance of being good in Gauntlet. Alright, Chittering Tiller. Not Titter. Tiller. 3 mana 4/3 Frenzy, opening gambit, teleport the enemy general 1 space forward. I mean, I guess it's a combo card. On face value, you're like, oh yeah, so Frenzy, it has synergy with itself. You play it, it moves forward, but you don't have any initiators, so sure, you teleport 1 forward to play into some kind of Frenzy, where they just move back. Okay, I'm not playing into Frenzy anymore. So you want to already have something on board for this to get some benefit. You want to bring them forward to be able to punch something that's already on board. So maybe it has slightly better late game potential, like they're running away from a big drop. You play this, they move forward. Because often when you play it, I guess it depends where you play it. 1 space forward. And has to be forward. I'm going to say that's specifically 1 space forward. So it doesn't really help if you played it right in front of them and they decided to move 2 back and then body block. It is a weird effect for Abyssian. So it doesn't really help you there. I'm kind of thinking Thunderhorn. Maybe they're playing around the Thunderhorn in a certain way. And so you want to combo with a Tiller to get a better effect of. I don't know, this card again, it doesn't seem that great. Obviously, anyone in chat, let me know if there's something about these cards that I'm missing. I might not be thinking of every possibility for this card, but it doesn't seem that great. Doesn't seem that great. But it is only a common. It's only a common. If this was the 3 mana 3/4, it'll be a different story, just because it's a solid stated 3 drop that Abyssian might not have a lot of. Abyssian doesn't necessarily have... Oh, it has Sentinels. But they're conditional. Blood Baronet, I'm not counting. Obviously, you've got your Sentinels. You've got a reactionary card. I haven't seen this in the longest time. This is sort of a budget card. Horrorburster, not that great. Void Talon. Yeah. And Zeroloth. Wraithing Swarm. It would just be a solid standard 3-drop that you could play turn 1 to get some board presence. And I think that'd be kind of worth it, but it isn't the case. So, yeah. I agree with that. Weird effect. Frenzy isn't something you automatically think of when you think of Abyssian. So maybe there's going to be... I think there's going to be more cards that might lend itself better to this particular effect. I think there has to be. Because it's very left of field for Abyssian. So I do suspect that when more cards get released, or leaked or whatever, they might make this card make a little bit more sense. Fizzling Mystic, I have seen this one. Seems kinda weird. That art is freaking cool. That art is freaking dope. It's a 4-mana 3/3, open a gambit, deal 2 damage to an enemy, or restore 2 health to a friendly minion or general. So it does the same as a Mystic, in potentially restoring 2 health, or deal 2 damage to an enemy, or... yeah. So, for 4 mana, you deal 2 damage to something. For 4 mana, you deal 2 damage to something. Doesn't seem that great. It's understated. Is it a neutral? It must be. Yeah, it's a neutral card. Don't know about this one either. Doesn't seem great. I would rather just run Healing Mystic. Sure, it's got 1 less attack, but compared to Healing Mystic, it's half the mana cost with 1 less attack. And I don't see you using the 2 damage to be offensive. I don't see you ever really using this. Like, what are you desperately going to need to deal 2 damage to at 4 mana? So like turn 2 or 3. Yeah, Gauntlet card. Another Gauntlet card. You're right. 100%. Deals with a Veil Hunter. Might deal with a weak drop. If, say, you're going second, they just play like a 2/2, going first. Then you play your 3-drop. They ramp that, play a 4. I guess you just use this to develop and remove their initial drop. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, don't run this card in ranked, just run Healing Mystic. That's my take. A lot of Gauntlet support. I like it. Gauntlet needs some love. Metameld. I like this one. I 100% like this card. I have already seen it and I 100% like it. 100%. A 2-mana spell. Equip a friendly artifact that was destroyed this game. Artifact Sarge. It is Vitruvian, right? Yeah, Artifact Sarge. Super powerful. Sometimes you don't draw your right artifact. Sometimes, sometimes your initial artifact gets removed. Say you just Wildfire Anked, it eventually gets removed. Say you had, what else have we got? What else can we have? You can have a Sickle if you're running Exhuming Sand deck, an Iris Barrier, which is probably going to get more popular now that Faustus is rotating out. If you know that you can guarantee an Iris Barrier, that's really strong. Staff of Yakir, perhaps. It can be used on Aurora's Tears combos. If you only say you have 2 artifacts in hand, but you've played more during the game. Increases consistency of that. And then when artifacts actually become more expensive than the 2 mana, you get your Wildfire Unk, Hexblade, Thunderclap, Spine Cleaver, all that good stuff. Then it actually gets better value, because say you have a Spine Cleaver, you created some totems that eventually broke, equip this for 2 mana, that gets you a 5 mana artifact. And you can dictate this, like, you obviously have to play it smart and know what has been played and destroyed so far, but that's something that you can build a deck around. Obviously not an auto-include in every vet deck, it's going to be an Artifact Sarge deck. But as far as Artifact Sarge goes, really good. Really, really good. I like it. And I think Artifact Sarge will become more popular again in the first couple of weeks when people are testing, but it might also see it a little bit more play now that it's got even more support and Falsius is dropping off, so Iris Barrier kind of being the equivalent might lend itself to an Artifact Vitruvian deck that might become a bit more prevalent. I have my fingers crossed, because I kind of like Artifact Vet. Really do. It can be kind of annoying to play against, but I kind of like it. Okay. And Crater. Okay, Hemp, what do you think of Crater? If you're still here. I do have an opinion on this card, but I just want to say, Hemp, what do you think? Oh, you're not here. That's fun. And I keep breaking Duel Links somehow. How do you keep breaking Duel Links? It better not be broken when I get back to it. That's for sure. Anyway, I don't think Hemp is here. So, Crater's the Magmar reveal. There we go. 3 mana 2/4. Deal 1 damage to everything including itself. It's a 3 mana 2/3 basically when you play it. It's quote unquote the replacement Scorn. Scorn is rotating out. It's kind of sad. And as far as the replacement Scorn goes, I think it's good. May I post a link? You know what? Try it. Do try it. I think I've depends what kind of link it is. Depends on the source, I think. Because I know I allowed YouTube links. No, okay, it depends on the source. I know I allowed YouTube links. I'm still sorting out what I'm allowing and trying to... Like, I'm not too fussed with links. I just want to make sure the sources are okay. Anyway, more AoE for Magmar, that's true. As I say, as an AoE card for 1 damage, as a replacement Scorn, I think it's good. But how often do you see a Magmar running Scorn? Almost never. Because at 4 mana, you can have Rebukes. And then you've got 5 Plasma Storms. And then you got Mechantors. Spirit Harvester, but that doesn't really see play. Doesn't really see play. Maybe, and this is probably the only thing I can think of, maybe you can play this turn 2 or turn 1 or turn 2 going second when you're versing a Lilith and then you just flood the board, you know? But then again, you could also just play Rebuke, couldn't you? By turn 2 going second, you could just replay Rebuke and it would be better than this. So I don't think this is very good. I think maybe it's good in an Abyssinian meta, but I don't think that's very likely to happen. Is it very likely to happen? Maybe when people say, oh yeah, Obelisk Vet is just everywhere, or just like your Tempo Golem Vet is everywhere, maybe I'll try and run a Counter Swarm, I don't know. And then, if that starts coming up, that's very specific set of circumstances that I don't think will happen. So I don't think this will see a lot of play. I think people will test with this card, but I don't think in the end it's going to see a lot of play. I think it's a little bit unnecessary in this meta. Crater. Oh, there's some more streamer reveals. Fair enough. Saturday, March 17th. We still got some more reveals, huh? It's the 11th for me right now, so Monday, March 12th. Hisuku. Nice. Fate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still got 5 reveals. That's pretty cool. Let's have a look at that link. 750. This one's a new one.
Let's get rid of...
Hold up. It is dual links related. I hope you don't mind. Slight interruption. I do want to see this though.
Let's get rid of this. And let's just freeze the game.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Damn it, Yugi. I'm telling the Pharaoh about this.
Man. I think that just goes to show that even though you were playing Yugi, you are not an anime character. You are not the main character. Did it just write itself? No, it didn't. Oh, you know what it is. That's what you get for playing Aliens. That's karma coming to bite you. That's what you get. That's what you get, Sunrose.
Konami needs to fix.
That is karma. Striking you down. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, the stream reveals. Let's go. Over here. Yeah, so this is the one. This is the 5 mana 3/3. Flying Rush. Legendary card. Dying Wish, a random friendly dervish disappears, summoning his place. But Aliens is so good, it's only been happening out of PvP. Aliens are kind of fun, I gotta give you that. Aliens are kind of fun, and they're pretty strong. Probably one of my stronger decks in my collection, but have you actually tried Arrow Mages before? Because I've been playing a lot of Arrow Mage recently, and it's super fun. Because you have a couple of ways of getting Bergamot out. And Bergamot with the Garden Field spell. So good, so powerful. The synergy in that deck is just kind of off the chain, if you don't mind me saying. Anyway, this, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that correctly. I'm just going to ignore it. But the thing that jumps to mind immediately is if you play Fault. If you play Cataclysmic Fault with this card, you play Fault Ray, do your combo, and then follow up with this card, you convert that into an immediate win condition. Because that would just chain out of control, would it not? You'd play this, it has Flying and Rush. I guess it would need to die, wouldn't it? Yeah, okay, that's slightly trickier. Incredible against Vath. Potentially good against Zuran as well, if they have the Sunforge and buff themselves up. The key is anything that can buff themselves to, at the very least, 3 attack. You can just run everything in. Kill them off. Keep killing. Over and over again. Really nice. Super good, super good. Very, very high combo potential, I guess. So it'd be good in a Fault deck, and in Fault decks, you can run Fault in either Siphron or Sage or Xerix. Obviously it's going to be good in Xerix because your BBS creates one. At 6 mana you can have 2 3/3s potentially to clear things. I think this is a pretty good card. And I'm excited to see it being played. Its art is also pretty cool. But I'm still missing a few things for Arrow Mages. What are you missing? I have the 3 copies of the Gardens. The 3 Rosemary and Bergamot, but only 2 Jasmine. But I as good as Jasmine is incredible. As a form of card draw and its effect. Having 2 was pretty fine. What else do I won? I won some golden apples as well. In case I'm falling behind, I have something to tribute off for Bergamot. Anyway, yeah, I really like this card, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to play Vitruvian Fault deck with this, and I'm going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Live stream. Another bonkers card. I've seen this. Hello? I've seen this card. It's absolutely insane, in my opinion. Some people are like, yeah, this could be good. This could be interesting. I think this is just power. I think this is just fully heal a friendly minion. Then draw a copy of it from your deck. I've been playing Heal Zuan earlier in the evening. Too bad. That's true. Good cards in effect. Yeah, that's true. But it's a proactive play, right? I have all cards, yeah. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. You know what I'm referring to. It's a proactive play. With this rotating out, this being reactive, this being kind of reactive, this being reactive, this not really seeing play, this not seeing play. Maybe you want a Sirocco, but that's for a different list, I think. Scarab doesn't really see play. This is reactive. This is reactive. So it's a good, legitimately proactive play, in my opinion. Which Vitruvian does have a lot of board removal at 5, but this has potential to do more than just remove the board. It can also push in a lot of face damage in a better way that Gust can, as long as you do the right setup. It can be slightly better than Gust, in that Gust can generate your 2 Wind Dervishes, which can deal 4 damage, but this could, at the very least, deal 6, as long as you have 1 other Dervish on board. You know, it's pretty good, in my opinion. I don't know, we'll have to see, I guess it could go either way. I guess maybe this will end up being better because Fireblaze Obelisks, maybe you've set them up a couple of those, but it itself is also a Dervish, so it would also get buffed by Fireblaze Obelisks. Yeah. Which is pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway. Jalamanti, tell us about Livestream. Tell us how good this card is. What I was saying was immediately what jumped to mind was Heal Zuan. Heal proc, cycle, draw. You use it on a Sunriser. You guarantee your second one in case your first one gets removed. It's just so good. It just seems so good. A 1-mana cycle that fully heals a minion. Insta staple. Absolutely. Even if you're running if you're running a Bond list, if you're running Titan, so good. If you could use this on Titan. No, you couldn't. What am I talking about? Not on Titan. What am I talking about? Not on Titan, but like Bond list. You know what I mean. Bond list. Your first one gets dispelled. You can still use it to trade in with things. You fully heal it. You draw your second. So good. So good. Titan didn't immediately come to mind because one of the problems you have with Titan is playing your first. You're kind of forced to play your first one. And then you want to immediately find the second. What else could you potentially want in Lionar that you would want to immediately draw a second copy of in the event that happens? Like you want to draw them both in the early game, right? Because it's a 1-mana. There's so many cards. Or maybe If you're running a Swarm Brome list, Silverguard, draw another Silverguard. Scintilla, in case it's taking damage. Draw your second one. Sunforge. Anything. Almost any minion. I say almost. I think this is definitely going to see play. I think this is undoubtedly going to see play. In almost every deck. Maybe not every deck, but almost every deck. I think this card is bonkers. And that is what I'll say on that. Skarzig is a new interesting one. Skarzig is very interesting. I need to pull them both up, because Feather Knight is also a thing. Oh, it's going to do that thing again, where it doesn't actually show what Feather Knight is. Anyway, Skarzig is a 1/2 neutral minion. If this minion survives, if this minion destroys an enemy and survives, friendly Skarzig anywhere transform into Feather Knights. And the Feather Knights are, it says it here. Yeah, I thought it would. Skarzig Feather Knight, it's a token, 3 mana, 4/8, with celerity. So obviously this is strong. 3 mana, 4/8, with celerity. Whenever this minion attacks, give other friendly minions +1/+1. Obviously it's strong. So the issue then becomes using this and trying to get this to kill something. It is a neutral. So what factions could use this best? You gotta think. I don't know. Things it can initiate, so Songhai. Like Inner Focus, Killing Edge, but that's very expensive late game combo that I don't really see them running. It would need to be a triple. Oh, not necessarily, I guess. If this minion destroys an enemy, friendly Skarzig anywhere, so it would also be in your deck, right? The other 2 copies, say you're running this as a triple, the other 2 copies in your deck would then transform into these 3 mana 4/8s. So you would only need to get one of these to kill one thing. The issue is trying to get that to happen. What's the cheapest way? You play a 3, you Assassination Protocol or Inner Focus, that becomes 4. What's the cheapest buff available? Ethereal? That becomes a 6 mana. Yeah, even though it could be run in Songhai and they have the best initiation for things with like 1 attack, I don't see it suiting thematically to the kind of decks that Songhai wants to be running. Saberspine Seal is another thing. It takes 3 cards to do. I guess it would be good in Swarm, in a very, very particular Swarm list. Whether you might be running it in Abyssian or Swarm Brome. That's all I can really think of there. What do you think, Gelamanti? What do you think? Do you think this card... What factions do you think this card would be good in? Or best in? Because it needs to have a nice consistent way to use it to kill something. And it also needs to have the rest of its deck benefit from the Skarzig in some way, right? Which seems very specific and narrow in a sense to me. That's just me. We'll keep moving along though. We'll keep moving along because we've still got a few left to go. Harusapex, Munch, Permafrost. We'll get these out of the way. Harusapex is the 4 mana, 7/6. Whenever this minion takes damage, your opponent draws a card. I have seen this. I think it's like Cell Soul. I have thoughts. I think it's like Cell Soul, where it's a low mana, overstated minion that has a downside. I think in the same way as Cell Soul, that downside is going to become irrelevant because of its stats relative to its mana cost. I think drawing a card is too much of a problem. You could just run Starhorn where you don't care that they're drawing cards because, bam, you'd be drawing them with your BBS anyway. Run an aggressive deck. In particular with Starhorn, you'd be making the mill at some point anyway. You don't care about them having more cards. Songhai is the best bet. Other factions need to wait one turn. Yeah. I don't know. It seems kind of awkward as a card, just referring to the Skarsgård. The kind of decks that the kind of factions that would use it best don't have many decks that would want to use it. Is how I would sum up that. Anyway, I think this card is good. In the same way Soul is good. It's going to be amazing in aggro decks. Its downside isn't that much of a downside. Not every deck will run this, because maybe more control-y decks might not want you to have the draw. But this can trade with anything. This can literally trade with anything. And Magmar's buff potential, all of a sudden you've got a 5 mana with the Greater Fortitude, and that becomes a 9. What do we got? Amplification. The combo potential is crazy, but just a 2/2. It becomes a 9/8 for 5 mana. Who cares if they draw a card at that point? Like, who actually cares? If it's flashed, turn 1, 7/4, amplification, going second. This card is bonkers. And it's not that hard to pull off. Like, Magmar can run Flash. They run Flash Sunsteel. This is better than Flash Sunsteel. This is so much better than Flash Sunsteel. Is there a new best turn 1 play in the game? Is there a new best 2-drop in the game? I think there is. I think there is a new best 2-drop in the game. And Sunsteel is rotating out, so it has officially been dethroned. And it's Haruspex. Haruspex? Haruspex? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. What was the other one? Yeah. Really good. That's my summation. Really good. Munch. I like the potential of this card. Steal health from an enemy minion for each friendly shadow creep until it dies. I think the idea that other people have said is that creep is getting more support because they're taking away so much of creep support because a lot of it was Shimzar. Steal health from an enemy minion for each friendly shadow creep until it dies. So depending on how much shadow creep you actually have on board, it could just be straight up removal. It could just remove a minion. It heals you. So it's good in that sense. It's gradually stealing it. So you back up from it. Obviously, there's a big threat that you want to remove. You can slowly remove it with this card, make its positioning irrelevant, move away, and gain life at the same time. I think that's kind of good. I'm not sure if this is going to be in any way dispellable, whether your opponent can dispel its target, and then this might get negated if it's something that goes on your general, and that can also be dispelled. But at the very least, I imagine when this will proc, it'll happen at the end of your turn, maybe the actual health getting stolen is going to happen at the end of your turn or something. So at the very least, you cast it on your turn, you steal at least 1 lot of health. I think it's pretty good. Potential for late game, that's correct. It might not be that likely that you'll have enough creep developed in the early game to remove something. So it might just be late game removal and heal at the same time. And in terms, or as far as that goes, I think it's pretty good. But it is only for creep decks. So Lilith and Maeve obviously don't get any benefit from this. It's a Cassiva card. And the last one I think is Permafrost. Unless there are some new ones that have been released that haven't been updated yet. Who knows? Stun an enemy minion, stun a nearby enemy. Interesting. Stole card? Definitely a stole card. Definitely a stole card. Sorry, I just got distracted there. You stun an enemy, and things that are already stunned stun things around them. Stun one thing next to them. Yeah, I don't think it's that great. Okay, so you're not going to use this. It's a Vanar card, right? It has to be. It's an Illidan card. So it's an Illidan epic card. This at 4 mana, potential to stun. You can stun a general also. Yeah, so obviously this is going to be like a small little combo with your BBS, right? You stun. What would you do? I doubt this is going to automatically proc. I think you'll have to BBS something first, and then stun something else, and then it moves on. I don't think you can permafrost the minion, and then it gets stunned, and then the stun on that happens automatically, and then the second effect procs. I don't think that's how it'll work. Just based on what the text says. Yeah, it seems very situational. Tuna, what's up, man? How's it been? I'm guessing you streamed today, so how was that? Maybe you did. Maybe it was today. Because it's in the evening for me, so maybe it was yesterday or something. I don't know. We're going through some cards. Well, we're on the tail end because I think this is the last one on the expansion ones. Just want to give my thoughts. It's 10 a.m. here, so just waking up. Yeah, that makes sense. So you haven't streamed today. I got you. I do want to check if there's anything else, because Freud has been keeping up to date with it. And no, Permafrost was the most recent one, so this is it. I don't think it's that great. What did you think of my Magma card? Did you reveal the Harusapex? That's the one that's been, yeah. Harusapex, freaking amazing. Freaking legendary. Telemancy knows I said this. It's freaking insane. It's freaking insane. Where is it? Scarzik, here it is. Absolutely bonkers. In Magma of all things. It's the... I was just saying, like, you know how people say, oh yeah, Flash Sunsteel. Best 2-drop in the game. Sunsteel's rotating out. So then you've got this. A 2 mana 7/4. That can be buffed with amplification or greater fortitude. You run it in Starhorn. You do not give a single snuff whether they're drawing cards off of it. You might not even care in Vath. This is going to be everywhere. I think. This is just going to be everywhere. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be really hard to deal with. Yeah. This is just like the definition of an answer or die card. If it is a legendary, which makes sense. Kujata is still in rotation, isn't it? Oh, Kujata. I think Kujata is still in. Yeah, basically. And this card would even be even worse in Gauntlet. Absolutely nuts. This card would just win you Gauntlet games straight up. There's no doubt about it. Anyway. Yeah, so that's bonkers. And yeah, I haven't got too much to say about this. I'm not a big Vanna player. It's obviously an Illina card, but it's not that great. It just doesn't seem that great. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. The best cards, I think, Massacre Artist, Cloud Caller, I kind of liked. Cell Soul, I definitely liked. I relate Cell Soul to that Magmar card in that they're really strong, cheap mana, overstated cards whose downside just, like, who cares? Who cares about its downside? Because it's negative text isn't enough to make it so that these cards aren't instantly played. It's just not even close. Indominus, I didn't really like. Chittering Tiller, very strange, didn't really like that. Fizzly Mystic, didn't like that. Metal Meld, loved it. Crater, didn't really like that one. Liked this card, loved this card. Felt indifferent about this one. Skarzik Feather Knight, the same thing. Insane, kind of want this to be good. Kind of want to see this played. It'd be really interesting. And I don't really like this card. That's the recap. Anyway, Ghostly Tuna, are you going to be streaming? Because if you are, I'll definitely shoot you a host. I don't know when you stream in your